All right, so this is part 4, I believe, now of the Level 1 Dosage Calc math competency test explanations, if you will. And on this one, we're going to cover tablets, reconstitution, and I'm going to touch a little bit on military time. Hopefully that will give you just about everything you'll need for the Level 1 math exam. So tablets are pretty easy. If you remember our rounding rules for tablets, you round to the nearest half tablet in this order. The doctor's saying, give this guy 650 milligrams, right? Well, that's a big G. There we go, 650 milligrams. Well, when you go to the Medcard, Omnicell, whatever, you see that they come in 325 milligram tablets. So you're gonna have to figure out how many tabs to give. May sound easy, but on the dosage calc, you're gonna have to show your work on it. So for every 650 milligrams is our given, and I know that for every one dose, I'm going to have 325 milligrams. Or better yet, instead of dose, let me make it, I really should call this tab. For every one tablet, since that's what they use in the word problem here, tablet, I know for every one tab, I'm going to have 325 milligrams, because we want to end up with tablets. We want to know how many tablets am I going to end up putting in a little cup and giving to this guy, right? So that's milligrams are going to cancel out. We're going to be left with tab as our answer, so blank tab. All right, pull up our calculator, and we've got 650 times 1 divided by 325, and you probably guessed it, 2 tabs. Seems pretty simple, right? Most of these are. They can get a little complicated, like the next one here. That's not as simple. On this one, you have milligrams. The doc says, give them this many milligrams. Well, when the pharmacy sends them, they send them in micrograms. So you're going to have to start off converting your micrograms to milligrams, and then get your final answer in tab. Or you could start off in milligrams and go to micrograms and then end in tab. As I've said before, it really doesn't matter what order you do these steps in, just as long as you set your units up in the proper way so that they cancel out and you're left with tablet. Because that's what they're asking us to give here is tablets. So let me show you. We'll do this one first at least. So I've got 2.5 milligrams. Check off milligrams. I'm going to take that to micrograms. I know for every 1 milligram, I have 1,000 micrograms. And I know for every 1 tab, I have 2,500 micrograms. Let me erase some of this, give myself a little bit of room here. All right, that's going to equal blank what? Well, let's cancel them out. Micrograms cancel out, milligrams cancel out, we're left with tab. So that's blank tab. Tablets were what we were looking for, so I've set my problem up correctly. Grab our calculator. 2.5 times 1,000 times 1 divided by, is that 2,500? 2,500. So that equals 1 tab. Bam. Easy enough, right? You may get, if you get an answer on these that's like, 4.7, tabs. Well, that's greater than 5, so you're going to round that up to just 5 tabs. If you get an answer that's like, 4.4, well, that's less than 5, you're going to round that down to just 4 tabs. That's basically how that works. You don't go out to the hundreds, round to the tenths, then round to the nearest whole. So if this was 3.45, for instance, it would still be just 4 tabs. All right, let's go to this one. This one is really, really easy. It's almost so easy that it's hard, and I'll show you what I mean. Doc says give 50 milligram, PO. You have on hand 50 milligram tablets. So how many tablets are you going to get? Well, duh, 1, right? Well, if you don't set this up and show your work, you'll get it wrong on your dosage calc test. So you still have to go through the process of saying 1 tab, 50 milligrams. Milligrams cancel out. I'm going to be left with blank tabs. 1. You still have to go through the process of doing this. So don't forget to do this. A good friend of mine knows how to do all the math problems correctly, failed the dosage calc test because he didn't show his work. So make sure and show your dang work. All right, moving on to reconstitution. Reconstitution is probably going to be what most everybody struggles with in level 1 or first semester or whenever you're taking this. And it's just because there's so many steps and it's easy to get confused. I'm going to show you a way to kind of decipher this a little bit and make it easier on yourself. All right, so let's read this problem. Everybody loves word problems, I know. The physician orders Meslin 50 milligrams per kilogram every 4 hours IV. The patient weighs 60 pounds. The pharmacy sends a vial of Meslin 1 gram in powder form. You have to add 10 milliliters of normal saline to reconstitute this med. How many milliliters will you give to the patient? Well, you know by the ending statement how many milliliters that we want to end up with milliliters. So we are working to find milliliters. That's our goal. We have the physician order here. We know that our patient weighs in pounds, and the physician gave us the order in kilograms, which they will almost always do, just to make life simple for you. So we're going to have to convert this little guy, 60 pounds, his weight, to kilograms. So that's where I would start. Doesn't matter where you start, just as long as you start somewhere and make sure that you have the correct units on top and bottom so that they cancel out to equal milliliters. I'm going to start with 60 pounds. 60 pounds, and I'm going to convert that to kilograms. So I'm going to go from pounds to kilograms, and then from kilograms I'm probably going to go to the grams. I'll take the milligrams to the grams, and then from there I'll go to milliliters. So 4-step problem here. All right, I've got 60 pounds as my patient. I know that for every 1 kilogram I have 2.2 pounds. All right. So I've got that step taken, pounds, kilograms. Now I'm going to go from my kilograms to my grams. I'm sorry, from kilograms to milligrams to grams to milliliters. I forgot about that step. So now I'm going to go and get rid of my kilograms. So I'm going to put, I know for every 50 milligrams, I have 1 kilogram. All right, these cancel out. So there's my milligram step. Now I'm going to go from milligram to gram. So I'm going to go from 50 milligrams, or I'm sorry, from milligrams to grams by plugging in this conversion ratio that I know for every 1 gram, I have 1,000 milligrams. That's going to cancel out my milligrams. Kilograms have canceled out. So now I'm in grams. Well, now I need to get to milliliters. I know that because of this word problem told me so, it says that you're going to stir up 1 gram of this powder within 10 milliliters of saline. So I know that for every 1 gram of this powder, I'm going to add 10 milliliters of saline to it. These grams will cancel out. I'll be left with a blank answer in here. and pounds cancel out, kilograms cancel out, milligrams cancel out, grams cancel out. I'm going to have an answer that's equals blank milliliters. So let's plug it into our calculator and see what we come up with. 60 times 1 divided by 2.2 times 50 divided by 1,000 equals 1.36. Equals 1.36, and oh, you know what, I almost forgot. Multiply that times 10 for the 10 milliliters. There we go, and that equals 13.6. So that's our final answer, 13.6. This is a volume. It's greater than 1 milliliter. So I'm going to go out to the hundredths place, round to the tenths place. That is a 3, not a 5, so we are left with 13.6. 13.6. Alright, so I'm just going to show you on this video here real quick that it doesn't matter, again, what order you do this in. Let's say I started with the grams here. Let's say I have 1 gram over 1,000 milligrams times, next I'll do the pounds, times 60 pounds. Next I'll do the milligrams and kilograms. I've got 50 milligrams for every 1 kilogram there. And next I'll do the kilograms and pounds. 1 kilogram for every 2.2, that's messed up looking too, 2.2 pounds. And then finally I'll do the 10 milliliters and 1 gram. Alright, so let's make sure everything cancels out. I've got grams on top here, grams on bottom here. Let me do these in different colors so you can see a little bit better. Grams on top here, grams on bottom there. I've got milligrams here, got milligrams here. I've got kilograms here, kilograms here. I've got pounds on the bottom here, and remember, because this is always assumed it's over 1, I have pounds on top there. So I'm left with a final answer of milliliters. This is going to equal blank milliliters. So let me plug this in just so you can see that it will still give you the right answer, despite what you may have been told. So I've got 1 divided by 1,000 times 60 times 50 divided by 2.2 times 10. That leaves us with 13.6, same answer we had before. Another neat little trick, I don't know if this is a little trick, but just a tidbit for your information. It doesn't matter if I go 1 divided by 1,000 times 60 divided by 1 times 50 divided by 1 times 1 divided by 2.2 times 10 divided by 1. I can go 1 times 60 times 50 times 1 times 10 divided by 1,000 divided by 1 divided by 1 divided by 2.2 divided by 1. That will also give me the same answer, and let me show you that here. So I've got 1 times 60 times 50 times 1 times 10 divided by 1,000 divided by 1 divided by 1 divided by 2.2 divided by 1. 13.6. So it doesn't matter what order it's in. Literally, the beautiful, most simplistic thing about dimensional analysis is all that it matters is that your units are in the correct order as far as what's on top and what's on bottom, so they cancel out to give you the unit you're looking for. In this case, it was milliliters. All right, so let's talk about military time. I was in the military, and it was probably some of the most amazing experiences of my life. But I was expected to know almost immediately military time, and as a 17, 18-year-old kid, I had no clue what military time was. So it was a little bit of culture shock, but I'm going to show you some things that kind of made it easier, at least for me, to fake it until I made it. Military time. All right, so military time basically it takes the regular hours of the day. In the morning, we say there's a zero before everything, like 0600. That is the equivalent to 6 a.m., right? Well, there's no AM, PM in the military world or in the hospital, in the medical field. We go by hours. 1,500 hours or 1,500 is what you'll probably always hear it called. And it's adding the hours of the day past noon together with 12. So, like for instance, if it's 1 p.m., you're going to say that's 12 plus 1 for this 12. If it's 3 o'clock, you're going to say that's 12 plus 3 equals 1,500. This equals 13. Not 73. I'm a little fuzzy with this pen, so you have to forgive me. So that equals 13. So you're just adding the numbers on the clock with 12, right? Well, what I did to try and, again, make my life easy, I memorized, instead of memorizing all 12 hours of the day and what they stand for and being able to remember them off, the top of your head immediately, I memorized 3 o'clock as 15, 6 o'clock as 18, 9 o'clock is 21. That way, if somebody said, hey, what time it is, I looked at my watch and saw that it was 4, I knew 3 was 15, and I just needed to add 1 that was 16. That to me was easier than saying, okay, it's 7 o'clock, 7 plus 12 is 19, so it's 1900 out. To me, it was easier just to think, well, 6 o'clock is 18, so it must be 17. That worked for me. Hopefully that's a trick that may help and work for you. Ultimately, it's just going to take time and practice with this. I would highly encourage you to change the time in your car or on your watch to military time. That way you're kind of saturating your brain more with military time. It's just going to make your life easy in the long run. So that's all I have really to offer on military time, other than on the Dosage Calc test with Cox College. If you were in the military, do not write this. I know that's what you were told in boot camp or whatever. It's how we used it, but do not use the hours. Just call it 0600. Don't put hours. They don't like that for some reason. I don't know why, but you won't ever hear it called in the hospital, and they don't want you to do that on the test. So hopefully that helps. Thanks again for watching.